Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today as we do our Civil Engineering Refresh event. We like to do refreshes throughout the year for different programs. Okay, for different programs, just to kind of let you know what's going on, what new equipment we have, or any new classes or anything else. And so we have a few new things going on, but we wanted to kick off our engineering week also with civil engineering. So we're glad that you joined us today, and I would like to bring up Dr. Emmett Griswold, our president, so he can say a few words.
Again, as we start off engineering week for 2023, we want to start off by refreshing our civil engineering program, who's headed up by our chairperson, Mr. Joseph Ford. As Ms. Harold mentioned, we like to refresh programs that we've had here traditionally throughout the year to let individuals know in the community what we have offered here. And also there's an in-demand field for civil engineering technicians, especially with companies such as Georgia Department of Transportation. So without further ado, we want to introduce our chairperson, Mr. Joseph Ford, and he can give you an overview of what's going on with the Civil Engineering Department. So again, thank you.
My name is Joseph Ford, the chairperson of the Civil Engineering Technology Department, and we have lots of exciting things going on in our program, but first let me tell you what it's about. This program will help you build a skill in the design and construction of the built environment, which includes construction projects, building projects, highway projects, and soil testing, as well as monitoring the drinking water. So we have a broad field of everything that centers on the built environment and land development. So right now, one of the exciting things that's going on in our program is we have purchased new surveying equipment. We have the TopCon Total Station, which takes accurate measurements for surveyors. And we also have a GPS-based satellite receiver that can help also collect points and put together plats for our engineering projects. So if you're interested in our program, please feel free to contact the school. My name is Joseph Ford, and I'll be glad to help you. And the next person will be John Hudgens. He is a success story for our program. He'll go ahead and give us details.
My name is John Hudgens. I am a Georgia Tech graduate. I graduated in building construction many years ago. I'm a veteran from Vietnam, so that sort of gives you my age. But I also am a graduate of Albany Tech. Realizing when I graduated from Georgia Tech, and I tell the students that the way I'm dressed, I work with the 4C robotics program. But I like to tell those students, when I graduated from Georgia Tech in the mid-70s, after an extended tour with the military, and of course I did stay on with the Army Corps of Engineers till '94 as a reservist, recalled active duty a couple of times. But in early or mid-2000s, I realized that technology had changed As I said, I told the students, when I graduated in '76 from Georgia Tech, there was only one computer on the campus. And that was one of those IBM Big Blues behind the glass. You did key punches, you wrote your program on a piece of paper, you key punched it, you turned in your cards, and you hoped to get it back in about 3 hours. There were no cell phones. You know, technology just has changed so. As I said, when I started with the city in '94 after the flood, the way we did plan review, a engineer mailed us 5 sets of plans. We marked up one set of plans with red pencil, put it back in the mail, sent it back to them. we didn't have, at that time, even internet or anything. So technology had just changed. I saw what was happening, so I decided to come out here and take courses, and I took the only 2 courses at that time that were available in AutoCAD. And at that time, AutoCAD was still just 2-dimensional drawings. Everything was 2-dimensional. Now AutoCAD is Civil 3D, and so many of the other programs are also. So I realized that I needed to update, because people were asking us, well, can I do this? Can I submit this? Well, the first thing it became was, can I fax you this and let you look at this detail and see if I can include it? Well, then they had started using AutoCAD and wanted us to, well, we didn't have AutoCAD, but we were leaning towards getting it. So I just felt, honestly, to keep my job, because I still worked for the city until 2020. So technology just changed, and I enjoyed coming out here. Like I said, I at first started with the electromechanical, because I had been in charge of a renovation project for the city where we upgraded the HVAC system in the down in the Civic Center. Old school was all the dampers were operated by pneumatics. We took the pneumatics out and put in electronics, and also by that time the idea of variable speed fans had become available. When the building was built in the 80s, a fan either was low, medium, or high, just sort of like the fan that you sit on the floor and all. But with that, you could not control the air the way you needed to in the individual rooms. So I just felt that I didn't intend to design, but I needed to understand the technology. And from then, I decided to update my engineering background, and of course, at that time, Kevin was here, but before I finished, Joe came in. But I took both of those, and then I followed that with 3 more degrees. The reason why is we in the engineering department did not have access to a server. Our server was down off of Newton Road, and so I didn't know how to get to the files. I had never been trained anything on computers. So I took computer engineering, then I took telecommunications, because actually we had a situation, we were told the major computer for the city was in the courthouse. So we were across the street. Well, they said, if we give you fiber, you will be faster. Well, we had to pay for the fiber, but guess what? It wasn't any faster. Why? Because it got to the switches, but the switches were still ancient history, so nothing improved. So I just frustrated. I took that, and then the last I ended up taking was the electronics, just to understand it. And of course, that's my history, But I have been real excited with helping Joe in getting this new equipment. And I can tell you that the surveyors in this part of the country cannot find people to work in the field. They don't have it. This is going to be a golden opportunity for this civil engineering program to take off and create a group of people that they can put out there to service the people in Southwest Georgia. An individual on your staff recently had a piece of property surveyed, and he was talking to the surveyor, and the guy said, "We're having to get people out of Atlanta because we can't find anybody to work."
Well, Mr. Hudgens has underlined not only the success story of the Civil Engineering Technology Program, but the ongoing demand for engineers and surveyors across Albany, across the state. So we will accommodate anyone who's interested in building things, who's interested in designing things, and who's interested in taking things apart and putting things back together. This includes buildings, this includes highways, bridges, anybody or any inner workings of the infrastructure. I will accommodate you and will teach you that skill to cater towards your passion for building. And I want to create more success stories like Mr. Hudgens and countless other students who went ahead to become successful in their respective jobs. All right?
Thank you, Mr. Ford.
Thank you.
One of the things Mr. Ford didn't mention is the majority of this program is online. And we are partnering with eCampus and teaching the classes through a lot of the other technical college system colleges in the state. So the surveying classes do have to be taken on hand because it's kind of hard to do surveying equipment if you're not on the ground, but the majority of the classes are online. So it opens up opportunities for people, especially if they're already working in the field. But a special thanks to Mr. Hudgens because he has been gone above and beyond. He's met with Mr. Ford. He's met with the equipment companies, making sure that we are getting the right stuff for our students. So we appreciate your support through the years, not only as a student, but as a volunteer and everything in between. So we appreciate you coming today. So as I said, this is the beginning of our engineering week. We have our mobile STEM lab. We're taking out to 4C tomorrow and to Colquitt County Schools on Thursday. We have some of our other engineering programs that are going to be in our student center on Wednesday at noon, showing off everything that's great about engineering. And then also on Thursday, we're taking our info to the road and going to the Worth County Career Fair. So we've got a lot of things planned for this week and we're excited. So if anybody has any questions, feel free to stick around and talk to Mr. Ford or Mr. Hudgens. Thank y'all.